Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, if I ask anybody, what do you feed yourself? Immediately they're going to say, I eat this, I drink this, and all of that. But in reality, every human being is feeding two things. They are feeding their body and they are feeding their soul. Every human being. And Islam cares a lot about what you feed yourself, whether it's your body or your soul. And Islam is a religion that's not practiced on Fridays or in Eid or in Ramadan only. Islam is practiced all the time. It's a way of life. So when we look at our bodies, Islam expects every Muslim to treat their bodies with respect, nourishing your body with halal food, good food, healthy food. That's what Islam is expecting from you. And we read that in the Quran. That's what Allah is ordering us to do. Allah is saying, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم واشكروا لله إن كنتم إياه تعبدون. O you who believe, eat from the good things which we have provided for you, and be grateful to Allah if it is indeed Him that you worship. So Allah is saying, if you believe me, you believe in Allah, and you believe in Islam, then what's expected from you is not to eat from everything. He's saying, eat from the good things. So look at what the best things that are available. That's what you should eat. As a Muslim, there is so many things. You should always, as a Muslim, select what's best from everything that's available. That's the order of Allah. And the Prophet ﷺ is saying in a hadith, your body has right over you. So your body on the day of judgment is going to ask you in front of Allah, what did you do to me? Because your body has right over you. You cannot abuse your body and say, it's mine, who cares? No, you're trusted. Allah entrusted you with your body. It's not something that belongs to you, do whatever you want with it. You are entrusted with it. And you're supposed to take care of the rights of your body. And we hear all the time those quotes here in America, which are consistent with Islam. It says, a healthy mind is in a healthy body. Another quote that says, you are what you eat. It is true, it's consistent with Islam. What you eat is important in Islam. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, who knows what's good for our body, told us in the Quran certain things that will harm our body. So we stay away from them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل لغير الله به والمنخنقة والموقوذة والمتردية والنطيحة وما أكل السبع إلا ما ذكيتم وما ذبح على النصب وأن تستقسموا بالأزلام. Prohibited to you are dead animals, blood, the flesh of swine, pig, and that which has been dedicated to other than Allah. And those animals killed by strangling, or by a violent blow, or by a headlong fall, fell from a mountain or something, or by goring of horns, two rams or two bulls fighting each other, one hit the other with their horn and kill it. It's forbidden to us to eat that. And those from which a wild animal has eaten, except what you are able to slaughter before its death. And those which are sacrificed on stone altars, so sacrificed for idols. And prohibited that you seek decision through divining arrows. Divining arrows was a technique used at the time of the Prophet, which is like flipping a coin, except that they believe this is the will of Allah, the will of God, and they have to obey it. So if the will of God says kill your son, they will kill it, the flipping the coin. So he's saying this is prohibited. But look at what Allah is telling us, not to eat. Because it's important what you put in your body. It's very important. And in addition, Allah is telling us what not to drink. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه لعلكم تفلحون. O you who have believed, indeed intoxicant, anything that will make you lose your mind, whether it's alcohol, beer, drugs, cocaine, marijuana, anything that will make you lose control, that will cover your mind. It's forbidden. Gambling, sacrificing on stone altars to other than Allah, and divining arrows are from the handwork of Satan. So avoid it, that you may be successful. So he's telling us what not to eat, what not to drink, because it's very important to Allah what you put in your body. And the companion said that the Prophet ﷺ prohibited to all Muslims eating birds that have claws and animals with fangs, those long teeth. In other words, all animal and birds that eat meat. Any of those are haram for Muslim. So we cannot eat an eagle or a hawk. At the same time, we cannot eat a tiger or a lion. All the animals that eat meat, because Allah knows the animal that eat meat has something in them that will harm us. So he's telling us, don't eat those animals or those birds. So Islam is focusing a lot on what you eat. Then we have some Muslim that their main diet consists of Twinkies, candy bars, cookies, donuts. This is their main diet. And every now and then they will eat something healthy. This is not Islam. How can you say you're a Muslim? This is not Islam. You're abusing your body. How you're going to stand in front of Allah on the day of judgment and say, this is what I did to my body. And look at the statistic that says here in the United States. It says more than 1/3, to be specific, 36.5% of adult Americans are obese. Not overweight, obese, extreme overweight. They are obese. And the conclusion that the researcher came up with is that obesity is the main cause of many diseases, including diabetes, heart disease, cancer, stroke, so many other diseases. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cares about what you put in your body. So we have to be careful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا. And eat and drink, and do not be extravagant. In other words, be moderate. Don't be excessive. So if you are going to eat every now and then a candy bar, I'm not saying this is haram. Yes, you can eat. Every now and then you want to eat a donut, it's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But don't go to the extreme, because that's not healthy food. And you have to feed your body halal and healthy and nutritious food. This is your responsibility with your body. I know a person, that person every day when he wakes up in the morning, before getting out of bed, he eats a large candy bar, bigger than your palm size, every day before getting out of bed. And then when he eats sweets, he piles whipped cream on it. He eats everything that's wrong. And then he ended up with diabetes, he has high cholesterol, and many other diseases. And he's complaining. He's abusing his body. And then he's complaining to Allah, why you are making me sick? Allah entrusted you with your body. How you abuse it? And then how can you dare? You didn't do your part and raise your hand to Allah and ask Him, why did you do that to me? You're doing it to yourself. So we have to be careful in everything that we eat. And Islam is encouraging us to eat balanced meals. If you read the Quran and listen to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, you'll notice that in Islam it's telling us to eat fish, meat, poultry, fruits, vegetables, grain, milk, honey, and more. All healthy stuff. All things that are good for us. Now that we talked about feeding your body, let's talk about feeding your soul. Soul is very important because soul controls your body. It controls our desire, our appetite, our emotions. That's what our soul is in control of, all of that. So it is extremely important to pay attention to what do we feed our soul. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي. And the soul commands evil except those upon which my Lord has mercy. So the soul always look for the easiest thing for the soul, which is the haram things. It's very easy. You like this, eat it. But it takes a lot of courage and a lot of will to stop and say, no, I'm not going to eat it. It's easy for you to cheat, to control your soul and say, no, I'm not going to cheat. It's difficult. So normally the soul will tell you what is the easiest thing is do the wrong things. It's the easiest path. And Allah is saying, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. But as for him who feared standing before his Lord and restrained his soul from low desires, then surely paradise will be his home. You notice I use the word low desires because there is high desires. Desire to read the Quran, desire to give charity, desire to help the weak. Those are high desires that are recommended. But the low desires are the things that will lead you to the wrong things, to haram, to displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is saying, if you control your low desires, the things that will lead you to the wrong path, if you do that, then Allah is saying your reward will be paradise, inshaAllah. And Allah is telling us, how do we feed our soul? Allah is saying, إِنَّ السَّمْعَ وَالْبَصَرَ وَالْفُؤَادَ كُلُّ أُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. Surely the hearing, the sight, and the heart, about all those, everyone will be questioned. So the main two things that feed our soul is our ears and our eyes. That's how we feed our soul. Let's talk about the ears. Allah cares a lot about what you hear. A lot. And He's saying in the Quran, وَقَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ أَنْ إِذَا سَمِعْتُمْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ يُكْفَرُ بِهَا وَيُسْتَهْزَأُ بِهَا فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا مِثْلُهُمْ. And it has already been revealed to you in the book, in this Quran, that when you hear the verses of Allah being rejected and ridiculed, then do not sit with them until they enter into another conversation. In that case, you will be like them. So Allah is saying, protect your ears. If you sit and listen to somebody making fun of the Quran, or if you hear somebody making fun of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, don't sit and listen. Walk away. He said, don't sit with them. Don't say, but they're my friend. And if I get up and walk away, they're going to be offended. Who cares? Let them be offended. Protect your ears. Protect your ears. Don't listen to anything that makes fun of Islam, whether it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam or the Quran. Don't. Protect your ears. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the believer, al-mu'minun, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ, and those who avoid ill talk, useless talk. He's saying the mu'minun protect their ears. They don't sit and listen to garbage, people talking about each other or things, that are non-beneficial to you. Protect your ears. Don't listen to those things. If you protect your ears, you are one of the mu'minun, the believers. You are higher ranking than the Muslim. The mu'min is higher than the Muslim. And Allah is saying, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا. And do not spy, nor let some of you backbite others. Protect your ears. Don't sit and listen. Somebody saying, oh, you know what happened? You know why did she get divorced? You know why he has a fight with his wife? You know why he lost his job? Don't listen to that. Protect your ears. What you hear will hurt you. It makes it acceptable to you to hear all that garbage. And it's important. Only get into your soul and into your ears things that will be beneficial to you, that will help you succeed in this life, help you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So protect your ears. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah hates one who says foul language. So anybody who says bad language, how do people learn foul language? It starts by hearing. And whether you hear it at home, when you're a little boy, You hear your parents using foul language, you grow up to use foul language. Or when you're an adult and you start to hang out with friends that use foul language, then you're going to start to use foul language. So if Allah hates the person who uses foul language, then don't get used to it. Don't listen to it. Protect your ears. Don't listen to foul language, because then it's easy for you to repeat. And when I tell that to some people, protect your ears, don't use foul language. Particularly the young people, they say, oh come on, this is how everybody expresses themselves. Everybody at college, that's the way they talk. You know, everybody on the sport team and football team, that's how they talk to each other. That's normal. Why you're saying don't use that? I want to be like them. Or somebody will say, you know, this is the only way I know how to express myself. I have to use those kind of language. And some people will tell me, I don't mean to use it in a bad way. It's in a friendly way. Using foul language. You hear all kind of excuses to use foul language. And some people, not just that, but they listen to songs, particularly rap music. Rap songs, they have all kind of violence and foul language. And they keep singing those songs. You make your tongue used to those things. Protect your ears. If you don't want to be one of those people that use foul language, it starts with your ears. If you protect your ears, your tongue is not going to say them. Some people listen to others saying vulgar jokes, using profanity to emphasize a point. And sometimes I've seen people insult their friends, and I tell them, but you're insulting your friend. No, they said this is a way to show affection. By insulting your friend? Is that affection? Oh yeah, that's the way we talk. Don't do that. As a Muslim, you cannot do that. Bad language should not come out of your mouth. And the Prophet ﷺ said, a true believer does not insult or curse or abuse or talk indecently. So all of the above is not acceptable in Islam. There is nothing called this is the way we talk. This is not the way we talk in Islam. That's my answer. This is the way I talk to my friend. This is the way. No, you cannot use foul language. Control your tongue and control your ears first, so you don't get used to it. And there is some people who are hypocrites, and those are the ones you have to stay away from them. You talk to those people and they are wonderful, beautiful language, nice talk, very decent. But when they get angry, you can't believe the amount of filth that comes out of their mouth. All kind of vulgar words, all kind of foul language. Those people are hypocrites, because they are pretending that they are decent people, talking nice things and like a Muslim, but then when the anger, it shows really what's inside them. Then the real person comes out. So be careful of those people as well. Now let's talk about the eyes. The eyes are important as well in Islam. And I'll give you one example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا, and do not come near adultery. And in Islam, anything that will lead to haram is haram. Anything that will lead to haram is haram. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze and guard their private parts. And tell the believing women to lower their gaze and guard their private parts. Gaze is the look, your eyes, what you're looking at. And Allah, look at the way Allah is focusing on this. Normally, most of the things that Allah tells us don't do or whatever, He talks to men in general, which cover men and women. But this is so important that He's specifically talking to men and specifically talking to women, because it's so important to lower our gaze. And you notice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, lower your gaze and protect your private part, guard your private part. He's saying it starts with your eyes. He didn't say, and then you start talking, and then you start meaning. He said, it will lead you right away to the haram. So lower your gaze. Don't stare. Don't stare at something that doesn't belong to you. Don't stare at something haram. Don't do that. Allah is saying, don't do it. And the Prophet ﷺ said, and the eyes commit adultery, Their adultery is staring. The eyes is not going to commit adultery, but he's saying it starts with staring. It's going to lead you to that. So protect your soul. If you start staring and looking at what doesn't belong to you, what's haram, then it's going to lead you to haram. Stay away from it. And we live in a time when you turn on the TV, you have hundreds of channels. You go on the computer, millions of videos, magazines, books, on your smartphone, wherever you are, on the bus, on BART, in your car, millions of things you can watch. So the key thing is, what are you going to feed your soul by looking at? What are you going to do? The Prophet ﷺ said, your eyes have rights over you. So are you going to feed your eyes pornography? Or you're going to feed it something beneficial? Something that will make you a better person? Are you going to feed your eyes on things that are haram? Or you're going to feed your eyes on things that are halal? It's all in your hand. What are you going to feed your soul? It's going to go inside you. And it's going to be there, and it's going to affect the way you behave as a human being. And another thing that's important to help us to obey Allah and follow that is our friends. The Prophet ﷺ said, a person follows the religion, the way of life of his close friend. So you should be very careful who you choose for close friends. So stay away from any person that commits haram or encourage you to commit haram. He's not your friend. Trust me, he's not your friend. If that person tells you, what's the big deal? It's going to be a sip of beer. So what? What's the big deal? Just a sip. I'm not telling you drink the whole bottle. Just a sip. Stay away from that person. Any person that will lead you to haram is not your friend. He's your enemy. Even if he's a relative, he's your enemy. Anybody who leads you to haram is your enemy. Stay away from them. And stay away at the same time. Some of the people will feed you skepticism, negativism, and they'll feed you pessimism, all the things that will put you down, make you give up on Islam and on the mercy of Allah. Stay away from those people. You want people who are optimistic, people who are positive. Stay away with those people, not those other people. And why we have to stay away from those people? Why? Because sooner or later, in your subconscious, whatever those people are feeding you, it's going to be okay. It's going to be little by little. You're going to feel it's okay. You're going to get used to it. Your friends tell you, let's go to the bar so we can sit there and have fun. You say, I'm going with them, but I'm not drinking. It's haram. And then they sit and they drink one time after one time. Now all of a sudden, it's very easy. You got used to alcohol being in front of you, people drinking alcohol. The only step you have to take is just take a glass and take a sip. It's very easy. Versus from the beginning, you feel this is haram. I'm not going to go to a bar. I'm not going to sit with a person that's all the time when I sit with him is drinking. Then you stay away from it. Or you stay with some friend that use foul language all the time. At the beginning you say, no, this is haram. I'm Muslim. I'm not going to say that. But then you get used to that bad language. Then it's easy for you. One time you get angry, it comes out of your mouth. Hey, nothing happened. Allah didn't send this a bolt, and kill me. It didn't happen. So I'm okay. So why not use it again? Or somebody sitting with somebody and tell you, oh, look, stare at the other person, a woman or a man, look at that, look at how beautiful they are, and you start staring. They encourage you, stay away from those people, because they will lead you to hellfire, not to success. Brothers and sisters, as Muslim, we must be strong, proactive, and do everything we can to protect ourselves and feed our bodies and soul, whatever is halal and good. If we do that, it will be easier for us to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and please Him, insha'Allah.